Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to Desi TV USA. I am Tabinda Gul. Let's take a look at a very special report. Now the detail is here. A Blessed Iftar-Dinner was organized on Thursday, March 6, 2025 at the Tempura Banquet and Event Center in Southwest Houston by Helping Hand for Relief and Development HHRD to create awareness about various global humanitarian programs and projects, including the Orphan Support Program (OSP) in 22 countries and 4 refugee populations, and the Karachi Institute of Neurological Disease and Rehab (KINDR). HHRD started in 2005 when earthquake hit Pakistan, and this year's 2025 marked the 20 years of global humanitarian services, with HHRD registered and working as international NGO INGO in 10 countries and have vet partner organization in more than 50 other countries. HHRD at present is assisting through education, social uplifting, subsistence, healthcare and similar activities 28,300 orphans worldwide, where 22,300 are sponsored by specific donors, while 6,000 are supported through general funds of HHRD. This year 2025, HHRD is trying to have all of these 6,000 orphans to be also sponsored by particular donors, and then in 2026 and beyond increase the support to more and more orphans. This can be done at www.hhrd.org/OSP2025. Now, the target of the Houston Blessed Iftar-Dinner event of March 6, 2025 was to get sponsorship for 250 orphans before, during and after the event. Funds continue to arrive at HHRD, and by March 10, 2025, HHRD has got a sponsorship from Houstonians for around 350 orphans, now $210,000. Renowned scholar Shaykh Sulaiman Hani was the guest speaker, who is a most heart-wrenching manners eloquently describe his eyes witness account of visiting the orphans supported by HHRD in Jordan. Mohammed Saad Ansari, Muiz Khan, Athar Mahmood, Subia Siddiqui and other from HHRD thanks everyone for their presence and support. Now, the special thanks were recorded to Desi TV USA, Pakistan Chronicle, Pakistan Journal and other publications. The event concluded with a special acknowledgement of the media personnel including Tariq Nihal Khan, Muhammad Jamil Siddiqui, Mahmood Ahmad, Shamim Sayyed, Subia Chima, Salim Sayyed, Zara Sayyed and others. Famous journalist and director of operations for Desi TV USA, Nusrat Haris, also addressed to the audience and offered her services to HHRD and other community services organizations. The program began with a briefing on Helping Hands project and how they are working to make a difference. The attendees were also informed about Pakistan Chronicle and Desi TV USA efforts in supporting their projects, particularly the tireless effort and non-stop support of Tariq Nihal Khan and Jamil Siddiqui. A collective prayers was held before the iftar, followed by a delicious meal of tempura. Maghrib prayers was offered at the hall after the iftar. Helping Hand for Relief and Development has made remarkable effort over the past 20 years to improve the lives of thousands of people in need. Their dedications to supporting orphan and vulnerable communities is truly commendable. If you would like to contribute to this noble cause, please visit their website to donate and bring light into the life of a deserving orphans and or the KINDR hospital project. So please visit www.hhrd.org/OSP2025 and www.hhrd.org/KINDR for more information. So please call +1 832 275 0786.
Believers who are righteous, a handsome face, a man. This is a man who comes to them with a face of glad tidings and light and garments of Jannah and perfume of Jannah. And he says, who are you? Man ant. And that man responds, Ana amaluka salih, I'm your righteous deeds. So imagine this girl comes on the day of judgment, you have no idea who she is. And you forgot who she was. Or you never saw her picture. And she says, our children, they are our sons and daughters. They are our children, our cousins, our nieces, our nephews. Imagine one says to you, you gave me more than food, you gave me dignity. You gave me more than education, you gave me a future. Last October, we went to Jordan through the works of Helping Hand. May Allah reward all of the remarkable volunteers and staff around the world. Say Ameen. Ameen. And we saw firsthand the impact, first of all, of the charity and the zakah, the sadaqah and the zakah. We saw it firsthand. But also, anyone who's ever experienced this in any country, or you just watched just a couple of videos you know how heartbreaking it is. In one of the areas that we went to with Syrian refugees, there was a small building, and I am not exaggerating when I say it was probably the size of this stage. That was the biggest building in the area. Everything else is tents. And it was actually smaller than this stage perhaps, but estimated. And we walked in, all these children are crammed in there. They're sitting at their desks and they're so eager to learn. And they have the alphabets, Arabic, some of them in English, they have the numbers, they have some projects that they try to do. And when we went in there, one of the most eloquent things I've ever heard in my life, one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen. All these little kids, and we're getting to meet them and trying to understand their stories, just to connect with them emotionally. And one young girl, maybe she was 13 or 14 years old. And by the way, for all the youngsters here, all the children in schools who don't like to go to school, wallahi, it's such a blessing. These children, some of them were working, picking crops and agriculture and produce for $1 an hour, sometimes $5, $10 a day. They would go out far away, their families would figure out there's some farmer who owns something, you can go work for him. She got into a strong university to become a medical school student. From where? From the deserts of Jordan, where she had nothing. And as I'm interviewing her, ask her what was momentous, what were some of the most pivotal moments for you? She said, even when I got into the university, it's expensive. So I thought, once again, that mindset, like, who's gonna care for me? Like, who cares about my tuition? She said, and then there's a generous donor from the US, amongst others. They got together and they said, we want to sponsor all of her 4 years of medical school study, and we want to sponsor anything else she needs in terms of study after that. Think of the life-changing moment and transformation through a few brothers and sisters who have no idea. I don't think they even know who she is. And she's making dua the entire time. Every act of worship, every good thing they do, every change from their lives. You're adding more light to your grave, more light to the world, more light in the akhirah. So keep striving. Wallahi, there's immeasurable change in the life of every orphan that we try to support. And in fact, of all the programs at Helping Hand, this is one of the few organizations I'm constantly endorsing. This is why I went with them to Jordan. I've seen the work on the ground when I was there in Jordan for a couple of years. The Orphan Sponsorship Program for me is one of the most important from a religious lens. It's one of the most important to take care of. So whatever you can do tonight, inshallah ta'ala, I urge you, for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, for the sake of bettering and changing the world in ways you do not see in this world. But inshallah you will see it on the Day of Judgment. Inshallah you'll see the reward in ways you can't imagine. And I pray that it's a reason for all of us to be right next to the neighborhood of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in the highest ranks of Jannah, when we're standing on the Day of Judgment and the Prophet is interceding for us and the orphans are interceding for us, that we recognize it was not, don't think of it as like I did them a favor. They did you a favor. They did us a favor by reminding us there was an opportunity to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to be compassionate and to sacrifice something little alone from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I believe what I was told, just to sponsor 2 orphans for an entire year, inshallah ta'ala, I think it's $50 a month per orphan per month. And so for the entire year, it's $1,200 for 2 orphans. I think it's for 5 orphans, you can also sponsor them, inshallah ta'ala, $3K for the entire year, or $6K for 10 orphans. Do what you can. Do what you can tonight. Alhamdulillah that we have made it here. We made it to Ramadan, and of course with orphan sponsorship, it's one of the categories of zakah, so you can also give your zakah for this cause. May Allah accept from all of you and put barakah in the sadaqah that you give because of your sincerity and your compassion, and grant you many streams of sadaqah jariyah that you see the fruits of in this life, but especially on the Day of Judgment next to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wa sallallahu.
Our volunteers must have given you the pledge forms. So just for information, mashallah, mashallah, the Houston has been very generous. So when we announced that this event itself, we are going to raise funds for 150 orphans, which is around 250,000. No, 250 orphans. 250, okay. Yeah, 250 orphans to be sponsored with $150,000. So alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, the people have already donated for that. So we already have $150,000 raised, but anyone who has not given, please participate in this giving, and I will invite Brother
Salim.
Salim Muhammad, my great best friend. I forgot his name with the fasting. So he's going to do the adhan.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. There's the other way.
Allahu Akbar, Allah. Of doing a lot of shows that relates to news and current affairs, and I have just moved to USA, and quite recently I have moved to Houston, and I've seen really hardworking, responsible, and humane people over here. This is my first instance, and this is my first event of Helping Hands that I have joined today. I have been meeting them, I've been hearing about them, and I've seen their shows, and today I have this opportunity of meeting all of you people. So I hope that I could be of some use in some way to be part of Helping Hand, to be part of this great community who has been thinking about humanity, who has been working for the kids specifically. So all the best to Helping Hands and all the best to everyone who's part of it. Allah Ta'ala sabki is kare khair ko kabool ho. Thank you so much.
So thank you for watching and thank you for supporting. This is me, Tabinda, signing off. Stay tuned for more news. Desi TV USA, DTV NN, our OTT platform, DTV Flix, where you can access to over 3,000 channels. So stay tuned and stay with us.
You came to this country for a brighter future for you and your loved ones. You've made it this far. Now it's time to become a citizen. With citizenship, you gain the right to vote, access to federal jobs, the ability to keep your family closer, and the freedom to travel with a U.S. passport. These are just a few of the benefits waiting for you when you become eligible. We're here to help you through the process with free resources and personalized guidance. Together, we can make it easier. Get started at becomeacitizentoday.com.